So what is BGP? It is called Border Gateway Protocol, and it is the official protocol of the internet, which is used by major ISPs, if not all. BGP is used to share routing information between autonomous systems and within autonomous systems. It is calculating the most efficient path to reach a given network. It is using attributes that can be used to manipulate route preference. Also, BGP is used as a signaling protocol for more complex protocols such as EVPN, EVPN VXLAN, Layer 2 VPN, and Layer 3 VPNs. We can have BGP in two flavors, internal BGP and external BGP, or we can call them iBGP and eBGP. So as I mentioned, BGP can be of two types, eBGP versus iBGP. So external BGP is configured between routers in different autonomous systems, which will share routes with each other, making the desired network to be reachable from one side to another. What this means, let's say that we have Google here, we have Facebook, and we have Apple. Each of them have their network, and each of them have their own autonomous system numbers. eBGP will be used between Apple and Google, or between Facebook and Google, or between Facebook and Apple, and eBGP will share routing information from Google to Facebook or to Apple, and will receive routing information from Facebook or Apple. When I say routing information, I mean that it will receive routes, and routes are used to reach servers on Facebook side, or on Apple side, or on Google side. We can also have the internal BGP, which can be configured within an autonomous systems, or static routing. So each type of BGP have their own set of rules on which they operate. For example, iBGP will advertise routes learned from eBGP to other iBGP and eBGP peers. External BGP will advertise routes learned from external BGP and internal BGP to other internal BGP and external BGP peers. Also, internal BGP will not advertise routes learned from other internal BGP peers to other internal BGP peers. This is done in order to avoid routing loops. So this iBGP peer here will not inform this iBGP peer here that he learned some routes from this iBGP peer here, because they will form a loop. Also, iBGP is established using loopback addresses, and by default iBGP message have a time to live value of 255, meaning that this host here can form iBGP relation with this host here as long as its loopback address is reachable, and there are no more than 255 hosts on the way. iBGP is established using physical router interfaces, and by default iBGP messages have a time to live value of 1. So let's say that this router here cannot form eBGP relation with this router here, because the eBGP messages have a time to live value of 1. So meaning that it can reach only the host that is directly connected. Of course, this can be manipulated. You can change the default time to live value, and you can use the maximum of 255. Also, there is not a general rule to use loopback interfaces for iBGP. You can use physical interfaces as well to form the iBGP neighborship relations. Also, iBGP and eBGP will not import routes by default. You need to teach them which routes to import and which routes to export. So it's important to know that iBGP requires full mesh in order to advertise the routes correctly. So let's say that we have the router R, which is having a external BGP peering session with R1. R1 is configured as a external BGP peer, and it will have also internal BGP running with R3. So as the general rule states, iBGP will advertise routes learned from external BGP to other internal BGP and eBGP peers, which means that R1 will share the routes learned from router R to the router R3. But what will happen in this segment between R3 and R2? Let's see. As the general rule states, iBGP will not advertise routes learned from iBGP to other iBGP peers. So this means that R2 will not receive the routes which router R sent via eBGP to router R1. So in order to fix this behavior, we'll have to add a new link from R1 to R2. So on a quick side note, like I said, you can find the video series links in the description and you can watch these videos chronologically. You can also hire me on Fiverr. I offer consulting and design services, troubleshooting and whatnot. And if you want to follow along with my Udemy courses, you will also find the discount codes in the description. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.